Oilers Nation Everyday with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
You know, guys, I think at some point we just got to accept that Chuck just might have our I'm sorry, I can't do it. All right, let's get into it with the lead. The thought of it makes me sick. That was our real garbage can, and that was kind of gross to touch. Kobe. Oh, bam. Whoop. Welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday, everybody. Get it? Bam Adebayo?
The fraud.
The show's live from the Sports Closet studio.
This is live.
This is live.
Wow.
Sportscloset.ca if you want to find out more. Boy, last night was a real stinker for our Edmonton Oilers, wasn't it?
You can say that again.
The show's a presentation of Bet365. Hockey fans, check out Bet365's 3-goal early payout. When your team goes up by 3, one team did last night, you get paid. It's that simple. Download the app today. Must be 19 plus. Please play responsibly. A hearty hello to everybody in the YouTube chat. And yes, Liam, tough night for the Oil, hey?
Bob just released the lines. Looking slim. Slim out there.
Who, the Lions?
Yeah. No Freddie today. Jones skate on the third line.
Sure.
Who they got next?
This is giving me, listen, Connor McDavid is great and I love him. This is giving me like 2019 vibes.
Oh, could you look up some lines from 2019, Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, last night was a, well, should we take the word of Chris Knoblauch or should we take the word of Darnell Nurse? Because they were very opposite.
We will talk about that in just a moment, but it's a Friday edition of the show. We have a couple of great guests today, by the way. 12:30, Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. He's going to tell us about names like Roby Järventie, who's up with the Oilers and probably playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ike Howard, who might be up with the Oilers and playing tomorrow. We'll talk about Jimmy Hamblin, James, as he's more formerly known.
His family knows him.
Yeah. And a whole bunch of things from down in Bakersfield. At 1 o'clock, one of the guests that you all requested, actually, last week, Jack Han, is going to join us.
Oh.
Used to work for the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, a handful of other spots as well. He was a coach in Legia. He's going to join us at 1 o'clock, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about the Oilers' tactics and how they're looking stylistically and all of those things.
Cool. I am very thrown off right now, as you can probably tell.
Yeah, what in the sweet fuck is going on?
I don't really know, but I think it's because I now can't hear the music when I'm like trying to get ready for stuff. So I'm like not getting into the game.
So you just need to get in the habit of sitting down 90 seconds before the show.
But you know me, I like to get my drinks and I like to.
Well, I'm aware back here that
you
don't
could do
like
that in the hour leading up to the show that you're here.
But then I would drink them. I can't have a drink in front of me and not drink it.
Shit, that's a fair point.
A surprisingly decent counterpoint from my friend Liam. A comment here from Cameron T, who said, looks like Tyler's answer of questionable was the right call to the lineup changes. You had one configuration that scored 5 goals. You changed it. You scored 0 goals. Chris Knoblauch, that feels like the definition of play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Good start, and that was about it, really, wasn't it? I thought they had a decent start to the game, and then they let off a breakaway. Was it a breakaway? Whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden, the game felt like it just ended, to be honest. Like, going into the third period, you needed 4 goals. You got 4 shots.
Pathetic.
Yeah, it was a very weird effort from the Oilers yesterday. I thought they were going to get up for it a lot more, especially after, I mean, we've seen this a few times. 2 good efforts, not quite getting the third one over the hump though. Yeah, it was a tough watch to say. I'll be honest, I couldn't really watch it that much because I was bored. Like I found myself to be very distracted, much like I am right now.
Someone in the comments made a point that I want to bring up. But first, before we get into the minutia of that hockey game, it's a word that I think applies in this sentence. I want to let you all know that our game day recap or our game recaps on Oilers Nation Everyday are brought to you by Derek Dodge. It's the beginning of a new chapter for Derek Dodge. They are under new ownership, bringing a fresh approach, new energy, and a renewed focus on customer experience. And right now, they have an unbeatable deal. With every vehicle purchase, you will receive a trip for 2 to Vegas. Yes, you heard that right. Leave the lot with your new vehicle and flights and accommodations for a trip for 2 to Vegas or on them. That is a deal that is tough to beat. Look at it on your screen. Yes, your screen. DerekDodge.com if you want to find out more information. Shout out to our
screen?
friends.
Your screen.
Your screen. We got another comment here that I think is a point that will be a nice jumping off spot for us here.
Okay.
BVB said the expected goals percentage was better than versus the Sharks. And that's correct. Against the San Jose Sharks at 5-on-5, the Oilers had 2.13 expected goals.
Nope.
Against the Florida Panthers, they had 2.88 expected goals. So an increase of 0.75 expected goals. So when you look at those numbers, you would sit there and say the Oilers played better offensively. I'm here to tell you that those numbers are absolutely a lie because the Oilers squandered a ton of quality opportunities. Yeah. They missed the net a bunch. They didn't get the puck to dangerous areas. Sure, did they attempt at 5-on-5 42 shots? They certainly did attempt 42 shots. Only 20 of them turned into real shots. I suppose 14 of those shot attempts were from high danger areas, but I would go ahead and add that you have the Ekholm chance at the end of the second. Connor McDavid found himself alone in front of the net in the offensive zone. Nobody around him, 4-foot radius, twice. Did not register a shot on net in either of those attempts. We had an opportunity in the first period. You mentioned they were playing well. You know what happened seconds before they opened the scoring? Some guy named Reinhardt with a D.
Not Griffin.
Not Sam.
Yeah, all Sam, yes.
Neither one of them.
All Max. Don't forget the Max.
Don't forget Max. They've somehow found another Reinhardt in Florida who's good. Before he scores on that breakaway, Liam, Connor McDavid passes up an opportunity in front of the net. Shoot the bleeping puck. When we watched the game against San Jose and we went through those goals and did our Derek Dodge game recap, Liam, what did we say on the Zach Hyman goal? Hey, look, you put pucks on net and go to the net and good things will happen. What did we say on, where's my list of goals? What did we say on the Nugent Hopkins goal? We said that was a beautiful power play goal. What did we say on the Connor Murphy goal? Put pucks on net and good things will happen. What did we say on the Vasily Podkolzin goal? Shoot the puck, put pucks on net, and good things will happen. What did we say on the Max Jones goal, Liam? I'm sure you can nail it now.
Put pucks on net.
And good things will happen. And we get to a game last night where the Oilers, from Connor McDavid on down, wanted to overpass the puck, wanted to score pretty goals, and that is not conducive to winning, especially when you play Sergei Bobrovsky. Sergei Bobrovsky came into that game with an 870 some shit save percentage.
Terrible.
It was bad. He's been bad this year. We have also faced Sergei Bobrovsky, I would say, probably more than any other goalie that we've faced over the last 2 years as a team. And I'm using we like I'm on the team, but I'm frustrated like I'm on the team right now. We have faced him more than we faced any other goalie. And what do we know about Bob? Shoot up high. He's great laterally. The weakness is up by the shoulders and the ears. And what did they do yesterday? Tried a zillion cutesy backdoor feeds that, even if they made them, they weren't scoring on them. Mm-hmm. Shoot the puck. Their best scoring chance might have been in the second period when Nugent Hopkins took a wrist shot from the outside. Sergei Bobrovsky had his hands down by his ankles. The entire top of the net was open. Nuge hit the side of the net. And I think you even saw in the reaction of Nugent Hopkins that he was like, damn it, I had him. They refused to shoot the puck. They deserved every bit of that 4-0 loss yesterday. The effort was piss poor. The execution was piss poor. The mentality was not what it needed to be. It was from front to back absolute garbage.
Yeah, it was a really poor one. I think, too, going into the game, I mean, just looking at the names and also, too, the names that were out for the Florida Panthers, the fact that I know the others are obviously missing Draisaitl, but the fact they weren't able to overcome that against the Florida team, which is incredibly banged up and missing, like, the season's over for them, essentially, and they couldn't get up for it like Florida was. It was disappointing, to say the least, and an opportunity where you could have put yourself in a really good spot. If the Oilers would have won last night, they would have been first in the Pacific Division. I know points percentage, whatever, but based off actual points you've earned, they would have been first in the division. And they squandered it. Unfortunately for them, everyone else in the division also lost last night, which was quite beneficial.
All 6 Pacific Division teams in the playoff picture lost in some fashion last night.
And all lost badly, too.
Except for LA.
They lost in a shootout. They were the only one. I think, if I'm not mistaken, weren't they the only team to score a goal? Didn't Anaheim? Seattle scored one. Poor night for the Pacific Division. But yeah, only one shot and goal for Connor McDavid last night. Seems seems underwhelming, especially when you come off that San Jose game. He had 5. And you want to know the last game he had one shot in? Dallas.
Liam, it doesn't happen very often when we give out the jeans. Look who got it last night.
Damn, those are baggy.
A pair of Jankos.
Jankos.
They were baggy jeans last night for Connor.
And again, I hate being like, and I see it. Like a couple of comments, you're going to tell Connor McDavid how to play offense. Sure.
No, we're not telling him how to do anything. He literally didn't do it. He didn't do it, and the Oilers lost 4-0 and couldn't get a goal because the best player in the world refused to shoot the puck. So no, we're not telling him how to do it. He should just know that the team needs him to carry the load right now.
It's just also frustrating, a guy who came into the year being like, I like being a goal scorer. I want to get back to scoring goals. And then just continues to overpass the puck. Seb says it. The fact we got shut out is just pathetic. To round out the stat, by the way, over the last since the beginning of the 23-24 season, the Oilers have faced Sergei Bobrovsky 19 times and Jake Ottinger 18 times. So they have faced Bobrovsky more than any other goalie in the NHL.
I think, too, on Bobrovsky, he's playing so badly. Just shoot. Honestly, just shoot. I know you were saying, get stuff up high and everything, and that's great. But the Oilers got him yanked last time they played him because they were just getting pucks to the net. They were getting him in a bit of greasy areas. Like the Podkolzin goal, if I remember, kind of squeaked through and Pods just kind of knocked it out on the line. It was something along those lines. I can't quite remember. But they got to him early, and they just didn't get into the game at all. And to be honest, Michael Benning had more points last night than Connor McDavid did, and that's a problem. And you know what he did? He shot a puck on net, and he got tipped.
And did good things happen?
It did. And also, too, I was thinking about this a little bit. I'd like to see a bit more from Spencer Stastny doing that. Not to go from one end to the other, but you got Michael Benning here, who plays 6 defenseman minutes. I don't even know what he played last night. Picks up 2 points in his 4th NHL game. All he did was get some pucks off net and made a good pass as well to Reinhart. I will give him that one, of course.
Benning played 15-40 at 5-on-5 yesterday.
There you go. And he didn't do anything too crazy. He's just an intelligent hockey player who puts himself in good spots despite his size. I want Stastny to turn into this guy. He has more points than Stastny. He had as many points as Stastny does with the Oilers last night. And again, this is not a Spencer Stastny problem. I'm not specifically saying he's the reason the Oilers lost, but I would just like to see him showcase his offense more than he does. And right now, he's just a skater.
BBJ said, I figured McDavid would come into this game pissed with all the trolling Tkachuk and the Panthers have been doing.
I would agree.
That is what is so beyond irritating from Connor McDavid on down. I thought that was going to, and that's part of my frustration. Is the outcome versus my expectations in that hockey game, where I thought Connor McDavid would come into that game like a bat out of hell, right? Firing everything. I'm going to do this all on my own. Big FU to the Florida Panthers. Mm-hmm. And the Oilers came out and whimpered. That's what's disappointing about it. Do we want to play the Knoblauch comments?
Sure, we got 3 minutes to spare.
Buckle up, it's long.
So the reason I cut this, I was listening to this morning. I just couldn't believe his answers. It just really threw me off, and it's basically just 3 questions in a row from Ryan Rishaug, but I thought it was quite telling.
So 3 minutes here?
It's about 3 minutes.
Okay, let's give it a listen.
So we asked you earlier today about this game and if it was, any more to it given it was the Florida Panthers, right? And you were very focused on the standings. But, should this game have been about a little more than that? And did you feel the pride kick in from your players that's required? It's 4-0 on a night, a team that came in here that doesn't have much to play for, that should mean a lot for you guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it that they didn't show up and play tonight. We came out strong. First 10 minutes, I thought had the majority of the play. We had one shift there where a couple of opportunities to score. Puck gets popped out. They get a breakaway goal. And after that, I think we were flat. Probably if we were flat, it was for the last 10 minutes of the third period. After they scored their first goal up until the end of the first period. That's probably the part of the game I didn't like. But overall, I would maybe criticize us maybe not shooting the puck enough. I thought, I thought the effort was there. We couldn't find a goal, and I think a lot of it had to do with us not shooting enough.
I guess what I'm wondering is if it's concerning to you that on a night like tonight there was anything left to doubt, that there's anything left in the tank for your group after tonight, given the opponent and the situation in the standings.
I don't understand your question.
Were you okay with just the overall competitiveness of your group in trying to beat this team that's beat you twice in the final, and with the points on the line and how important they are for your group? Are you good with what your players put out there overall tonight?
Yeah, you look at the score and you're disappointed with the score. I'm going to look at the scoring chances tomorrow and see what the advantage was. And, you know, I could be wrong, but I think that was a game that I certainly don't think we were outplayed. You know, maybe if we wanted some more enthusiasm with maybe more fights, physicality, we could have some of that. But the fact that we just didn't put the puck in the net and they did, I think was a big story of the game.
The fact that we didn't put the puck in the net and they did,
Huge.
according to Chris Knoblauch, is a big part of the game.
Huge headline.
Yeah.
Huge.
That's
I mean, if they had, they
write
only
that
would have
down.
lost 4-1. I was honestly listening to it and I was just stunned. Like, I can't believe he said that stuff. Like, he says, we were good for the first 10 minutes, which, sure, fair enough. Like, they were fine. And then he's like, yeah, and then I just didn't like the final 10. So, what about the other 40 minutes that was between there? That
What
was
about in the
also
second
bad.
period when there was like 8 minutes where they had you hemmed in your own end? It took Jack Roslovic going end to end, who might have been one of the only Oilers flying last night was Jack Roslovic.
I just think, just be honest.
You can call
Just
your
say
team
they were
out.
bad.
Unless you're that.
But the players said they were bad. The
Yeah.
players the coach, the media went into the room and asked the players, and they said, yeah, we just didn't have it. Like, we just couldn't find the effort we needed, which is just the truth, and it's fine.
And that it's an 82-game regular season. There's absolutely going to be games where you don't have it. But to be sitting here and pulling that out, and I'm not doing a fucking second of this team might be sick. Go to
Is that
hell.
what people are saying?
Oh, there's a lot of that. Well, you know, they might be sick.
Oh.
How many times is this team getting sick throughout the goddamn year? Also, it's almost Game 70. You're fighting for your playoff lives. I don't care if you got COVID-28. Go out there and fucking hustle.
Well, I listened to the Nurse interview as well. Like, he really didn't really make any excuses, to be
Oh,
honest.
and they shouldn't be. We're
He
Game
said-
70.
He said, he's like, we're in a playoff race. He's like, we needed to show up. And he said, he's like, because the question obviously was like, how do you not get up for this game? Like, it's the Florida Panthers. And he said, he's like, no one's like coming here like underestimating the opponent. He's like, sometimes you just go out there and it's just not working, which is the truth. And it's the truth you don't like. And I don't like that too. And they should be able to find a way against Florida, especially a banged up Florida team. But like, he didn't mince his words. He's like, yeah, we sucked. But then you get Knoblauch, who is the lead. Like, what is he saying? Like, what is he possibly going into the room and saying to this team? Well, you had it tonight, guys. Just no goals. Like, I know there's obviously a lot more context to it than that, but like, it's just crazy to me that he just over and over and over again is like, effort was there. Was it? Because this is I think the Oilers are 0-11 trying to win a 1-9-2, I think they are. Trying to win 3 games in a row.
Got that one.
Like,
Then immediately lost 3 games in a row to non-playoff teams.
And that was, I'll say one other thing too. I am glad Tristan Jarry didn't play yesterday.
And I'm glad you hurt your elbow.
Because he would have just been the scapegoat for all of this. And it wasn't, Ingram, I didn't even think about him last night, to be honest. Like, he was very irrelevant to the outcome of the game. But you all know, and we can all admit, I'm sure we would have done it too, if Jarry was in this game. Oh my God, I can't believe Jarry did this to us again. But I think it was just a bad effort.
The donut said, Stoff is saying they're sick. I do not care if Jesus Christ himself came back to earth and told me that they're sick. I don't care if they gave me 20 doctor's notes from last night saying they're all sick. I am past the point of making excuses for this team. Robio, who do you blame this on? The players or the coach? All of them. That effort last night is on all of them.
Team
Wasn't
game.
good enough. It just was not good enough. Did you see my tweet last night that got a little bit of love?
Let me find it.
I said you could send an Oiler on a solo
I did see
expedition
that.
to the moon, send a net up there, put them on a breakaway, and they'd still try to pass the puck. And last night, that's how it felt. Someone tweeted me the screenshot of Matthias Ekholm. They sent me this screenshot. I'm sure you guys will
I
be
saw this. Yeah, I remember that. He passed it.
Somehow this doesn't turn into a shot on net. There you
Yeah.
go.
And they, in this period too, they were hammering. That was right at the end, right? What's that say? 26 seconds left. Yeah. They were pinning Florida in the zone. Every time Florida tried to clear it, they were keeping it in. They were doing a really, really good job. And I saw this and I thought, when he was coming down, I was like, he's in his spot. How many times have we seen Ekholm reach for the stars with his stick and just
From that spot?
Yeah, and smack it over the goalie. It's like vintage Ekholm. And for whatever reason, he passed it. And the Oilers only had 21 shots on goal yesterday. Again, I said it earlier, and I'll just repeat myself. They went into the third period needing 4 goals to win, and they had 4 shots on goal. Mm-hmm. Yet somehow had, what did you say, Aaron? 13 high danger
14
chances?
to 7 high danger, according to Natural Stat Trick.
I'd love to see the video. I wish you could click on those numbers and they would like show you the 14 high
Dude,
danger
I
chances.
questioned everything on my ability to analyze an Oiler game last night with Natural Stat Trick, and then Nobby saying that. I was like, am I so out to lunch right now? No.
Well,
No, they are the ones that are wrong.
I'll say this as well. The people in the media room yesterday, I feel like they felt the exact same way as you because they were not mincing their words on the questions.
No, when Rashog's third one there, when he kind of gives it the, are you good with that effort? And
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but he said, like, are you good was the first part of the question. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, like he did not.
You could tell that got Nobby a little bit, huh?
And Stauffer asked him if they needed Clattenburg in the lineup to add a bit more toughness.
Yep.
And Nobby, I wouldn't say avoided. He answered the question, but yeah, the guys that asked questions last night didn't.
He
didn't wait
dismissed
around.
it very quickly, the Clattenburg thing. and
Yeah,
it was
he
just
did.
like, yeah.
Does the team that's been to back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals and largely have the same core in the room, do they need the 21 or 22-year-old rookie fourth liner to inject life into them? Do we all realize how insane that sounds?
Actually,
what is
speaking
going on?
of that, Trent Frederic did leave the game yesterday, and we have not had an update. He didn't skate today, but I found this clip, and it's not really too much, but it's something that I noticed. Aaron, if you want to roll it, it takes a few seconds for it to get going here. But when the puck goes into, what would that be, the back right corner, I guess, once you get up the ice here, you'll see Frederic coming down the ice from the benches and make contact on the boards, right in front of that tire, actually. Here he comes. There he is, just at the top of the face-off circle there. And it looks like his ankle gets clipped and he goes down. And then he did not come back. And he's late coming back into this defensive zone as well. I remember he looks to go and like make a hit, and it looks a bit bad. If this is another ankle thing for him, and I hope it's really nothing, then I feel bad for him because he has come back from the Olympics, looks finally healthy, playing really good hockey, and then something very obscure happens. And it doesn't look like a lot, but we know he's obviously battled injuries. With that, I would assume it's that ankle if it's one that's bothered him. Hopefully not too bad.
If this restarts that 9-month clock, I'm going to be pissed.
Just put him on LTIR. You know what I mean?
For 7 years?
No, just still 9 months. Like, not that I don't want Frederic to play. Like, again, I think
Just
he's been
get better
playing.
is our point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, come on. Let's get Clattenburg up here. Get some impact.
Do the Edmonton Oilers need a guy with 15 professional games under his belt to show them how to play the right way? Come on, man.
Five games, Clattenburg. What an impact.
5 games with the Oilers?
For the Oilers. 22 on the season.
Okay,
22 in Bakersfield.
27 professional games. The Oilers need that guy to show them how to play with a little heart. Also, the other part of all this, we had someone earlier, and listen, the comments are flying in right now, and you guys are understandably fired up. But someone said, just play with some pride for the final 12 games here. And it's like, listen, I'm also not as angry as I am today. I'm also not dumb enough to, and I'm not implying that this commenter was saying this, but like I'm also not dumb enough to sit here and not look at the standings and go, well, they're 1 point out of that top spot in the Pacific, which they haven't won in my lifetime.
most of our lifetimes, I would assume, for people watching
Yeah.
as well. What was it? 86 was the last time?
Yeah, and like, there's no way anyone born before 1986 knows how to work YouTube. So yeah, I would say probably.
YouTube.
I'm joking.
They're all watching on Facebook.
Oh, you know what? They were all the Facebook viewers were definitely alive for that last divisional win. Can you believe they call them the Elks? That's all Facebook is now.
Can you pull up that standings again, Aaron? Yeah, so they're 1 point off, 2 games in. Anaheim has 2 games in hand on them. What's their record? 34, 27, and 9. It's not great, is it?
No, the Oilers once again will have to win. Every week is the same thing. We have 3 shows where we're like, holy shit, they're back. Let's get it. Oil up. And then we have to do like a show and a half where it's like, put a bullet in them. The season's over. It's so frustrating. They once again have to win 3 straight games if they want to get to a point where they've won more than they've lost this year.
I just don't know where they're going to finish. Like,
No.
I really have no idea. Because on one hand, they keep getting so close, they're like fingertips away from touching the Ducks. And then they fall down 5 flights of stairs. And then Vegas is right behind them. And then they fall down their stairs.
Yeah.
And then they climb back up just as Edmonton's getting back up. And then they all just tumble down again.
You know what the Pacific Division is like? It's like that game show where the stairs are really soapy and slippery. And everyone climbs up, and then like someone's about to get. Can you find the video of that, Aaron? Someone's about to get to the top, and then they slip, and just everyone falls back to the beginning.
It's I don't know where I want them to finish. Well, I want them to finish first, obviously, but like I just don't know. Like they asked me on the source yesterday, they were like, "Who do you think is going to win the division?" And I said the Ducks. They're in first. They've been in first for a good while.
Yeah.
How far can you? Sorry, Aaron. Can you pull up the standings one more time?
No, he's finding the stair video. He can't.
I can do it all.
Okay.
Can you go to the screen for me? So they are currently. Oh, geez. How many points are there? They're 5 points ahead of the Kings with 2 games in hand.
So they could only be 4 points ahead of the Kings.
And the Kings have kind of been gaining some ground. Are we going to get Edmonton, LA first round again?
That would be the ultimate ending to this, right? Is like if Anaheim loses 6 straight, Vegas wins the division, and it's Edmonton, LA round 1. That would be hilarious. Aaron, do you have the video? Liam, this is the Pacific Division playoff race. They're about to get to the See ya. Oh, there's the Oilers. Oh, they lost 4-0 to Florida. It looks like a lot of fun. Look at everyone. Best of luck.
Do this at K-Days.
You can see the Kraken are in there, the Sharks. All right, don't go too fast.
The Ducks are there. They're the ambitious ones. They're trying to get ahead of everyone.
Careful, everyone. Don't go too fast. Don't have a 600 points percentage. You need to go slow and steady.
There's the rest of the league. You can get him.
Come on,
Finally
guys.
win that cup, Connor McDavid. Fuck.
Oh, 3 losses
there goes
in a row.
the Kraken. Oh, the Oilers.
We should remake this video with the logos on top of these people.
It would honestly probably go pretty viral.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the Oilers winning their head-to-head against the Golden Knights. Yay. Down you go.
And there's the Ducks.
What?
Oh.
No, Anaheim.
So close. Then they get smoked by Buffalo, wherever they played yesterday.
Yeah. So anyways, every team in the Pacific Division lost last night. Tremendous stuff happening in the NHL. Should we get out to the guest line?
I think we should.
All right. Our guest line here on the show is brought to you by your Prairie Toyota dealers. Looking to dominate off the ice as much as your team does on it? Check out the Toyota Tacoma. Its standard I-Force engine boasts an impressive towing capacity of up to 6,400 pounds. In fact, it's the most powerful Tacoma ever. So whether you're hauling gear to the rink or heading to an away game, you can tackle it with ease. When it's time to load up, the available power liftgate makes loading your gear in and out a cinch. Experience power, capability, and convenience with the Toyota Tacoma. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer to drive one today, as we welcome in our good friend down in Bakersfield, Ryan Holt. Holty, how you doing?
I'm great, guys. How you doing?
Fantastic. Plenty to get to here. I mean, one, the injuries and the illnesses keep piling up for the Oilers, and that means they got to keep reaching down to Bakersfield. The most recent name to get the call is Roby Järventie. For maybe the Oilers fans in our YouTube chat who aren't too familiar with the Condors, have never maybe seen Roby Järventie play hockey, tell us a little bit about him and the kind of player he is.
He's missed the last 2 years due to injury, right? So, it was a long road back for him. We acquired him, a year and a half ago, right? And really, kind of pocketed him away. So I think the first and foremost is he's healthy and he's had a healthy season, and that's been big for him. He's still 23 years old. He's a big kid, right? He's 6'3", 6'4", can skate, can handle the puck. He's good along the boards. He's not a physical player in that sense, but good along the boards, and has a heck of a shot. A guy who has 17 goals for us this year, has kind of been, top 6 minutes, but, a guy who, has probably been, along with James Hamblin, maybe the best condor in the last month and a half of prospects, if you will. So, it's a deserved call-up. He's probably the guy that hadn't received a game, this year that probably deserves a look at the NHL. And I think if you're Edmonton, if you get a look at him, down the stretch, he's played 7 NHL games. That was 2 years ago. So we'll see what he has here. And hopefully he does get in, here this weekend.
Even just on, like you mentioned, the health thing. This is a guy who last year played 2 games. I'm just looking at his game logs here. This year, there was a point earlier where they weren't playing him in back-to-back games. Like on a human level, for a guy who's grinded through these injuries, I'm not going to pretend to know him, but you're happy for him, right? That he's gone through that adversity. He's gone through so much for a 23-year-old. To be getting this opportunity is great.
Yeah, for sure. It was tough, right? I think there was, part of that last year where, Roby was around the whole year up until, maybe March when, he kind of had to go for surgery and we didn't really see him down the stretch. But, it was tough on him. There's no doubt about it. You're by yourself, a lot of the time. You're rehabbing. You're not with the team on the road. You're there, but you're not really there. And I think this year's been great for him. I think him, Marjala, and Lepinen have obviously had a nice bond from, being from Finland, but I think the three of them have been good for this team, have been good for the culture, and I think Järventie's a good player. I think he can have success at the next level, and hopefully that comes, there at the end of the year and can help the Oilers out a bit.
I wanted to ask you as well, Max Jones, I feel like when he's been with the Oilers this season, he's had a real impact. Like last night, the Oilers had a very flat game. He still managed to have 8 hits, which is pretty impressive for the amount of he's actually playing. What have you seen from him this season? Because obviously he was a 24th overall pick by the Ducks. I'm assuming he's played more games in the American League than he ever thought he was going to. And now he's just had to become a bit of a crasher and banger and utilize his speeds, get to the NHL. I think he deserves a lot of credit for the work he must have put in.
Yeah, I've seen him, a couple of different times, right? We've seen him here in San Diego when he first started, and super skilled, high offense, power play one type of guy, gets to the NHL, finds his way, in Boston, ends up in the Oilers organization after, starting in Anaheim. And that was kind of reinvented himself a little bit, right? He has that, crash and bang, like you mentioned, kind of aspect to his game. He's a pest to play against. He hits, skates well, but he has skill as well. So I think there's enough tools there that he can be used in a couple of different situations. One thing I'll say about Max is the first time he came down, I think it was a bit of a shock for him, right? Like you mentioned. The second time he came down, he was as invested in this team and in this organization as anybody. One, to get back to the next level and to have that opportunity. But, he was very good for us regardless of point totals. Killing penalties, creating offense, creating opportunities. He was, with Hamlin and with Griffith for, much of that run. He was the guy that, created a lot of space. And, he has a ton of skill for a big guy who kills penalties and who has that aspect to his game. So I think he's versatile, especially at that next level.
Just going through our comments here a little bit. Trent Frederic obviously injured last night. He wasn't on the ice today for the Oilers skate, so presumably they could make another recall. I think they might even be able to do it under emergency circumstances again if Frederic is injured. And a lot of people on our YouTube are bringing up the name James Hamblin. I know you touched on him earlier. Again, it's his, 5th year with the Bakersfield Condors, 2nd straight year where he's really popped and has been good offensively. But in what ways has maybe James Hamblin's game developed a little bit this year?
Yeah, I was talking with assistant coach Adam Krug last night. And I said, Hamlin's going to finish with 25 plus goals this year, and he's having a terrific season, right? But he could have 10 goals, and you'd still want him on your team. That's how effective he is as a person on, off the ice, and he plays the game the right way, right? Knoblauch calls him the blue whale because he's so rare, right? In this day and age, a guy who does everything that's asked of him, doesn't complain. I think he got taken off the power play this week just because they want to limit his minutes because he kills penalties, and we're down to 11 healthy forwards here in Bakersfield. So he just wants to put him in better situations, and some guys would probably be aggravated taking off the power play. Hamlin's like, yep, whatever you need me to do, I'll do. He's our best centerman. He kills penalties. He's on the power play sparingly. He's our best 5-on-5 forward. He plays the game the right way. He back checks, forward checks. He does everything you want him to do. I think he deserves a chance at the next level. That's just me personally, from a human side, from a professional side, and from a results side as well too. He's got a ton of skill. He kind of plays that Hyman role, right? Like 90% of his goals are going to come from blue paint, extended. So, he's not old. Like, you mentioned he came in this organization during the COVID season in 2020, undrafted, unheralded, got an NHL contract, played 40 games for the Oilers during, their 17 or whatever it was, 19-game win streak a couple of years ago. And it was a key part of that, right? And kind of turned the PK around a little bit up there. So I think, he deserves a look. He's done everything that's been asked of him, and, he's happy to be wherever he is. He's a true, if you cut him open, he bleeds blue and orange. And, I don't think you can have enough guys like that.
So the Oilers obviously made a trade for Tristan Jarry this season, and I think one play that, like, Samuel Poulin was in that deal, and we haven't really talked about him at all. But I was just looking at his numbers in the American League: 7 goals, 20 points, 36 games. Like, how is he doing for the Condors, and is he a potential NHL player one day? He is 25 now.
He's a power forward, right? Like, he's a guy who, has the ability to take a game over. Him and Järventie, I thought, kind of came on here over the last, month and a half. I think Pooh has 10 points in his last 16 games, but he kills penalties really well as well, and he can play down the middle, which we've desperately needed without Szymanski. We've had a bunch of different tryouts, it feels like, for who can play center for this team. We have Marjala, Hamlin, and then everybody else. So it's been nice to have that versatility down the middle. I think he's playing the best hockey of his season with us here over the last month and a half. He's skilled. He's a big body. He doesn't get pushed around. I think the foot speed, that could be something that comes into play, I think, at the next level. I think that's what separates, AHL players from NHL players, right? Is can you skate? Can you create your own offense at that next level? He's been very good for us of late, and we've needed him because, like you mentioned earlier, Järventie's up, Szymanski's up. A couple of guys have taken a dip here a little bit over the last couple of weeks offensively, and, he's provided that secondary scoring here over the last month and a half.
A lot of people have seen what Matt Savoy's done over the last few weeks here since coming back from the Olympic break. Damn near point per game guy for the Oilers. And the hope is that a guy like Ike Howard can follow a similar-ish development curve for this team. I know a little different because Howard got a few more NHL games this year, and stylistically they're very different players, but the Oilers clearly send Howard down with, things they want him to work on. What are those things that Howard's been trying to round out in his game?
Yeah, I think it's the limiting of the mistakes. I think for Ike, he's going to have, a ton of opportunity, not only at this level, but the next level. And he's going to create a lot of offense, but it's the mistakes, in Texas, he turned pucks over at both blue lines, and one of them led to a goal. And those are things that can't happen at the next level. And that's the reason why, you have the American Hockey League, and you're able to make those mistakes at this level. One thing I'll say about him, and I kind of lump him in obviously with Hudson just because of, the rookie, status of both is, both are hockey gamers, right? They think the game, they're constantly, talking about whether something's happening in the NHL or something's happening in the AHL. All they do is talk hockey all the time. they're definitely gamers. He's been great for us. Him and Hudson have definitely had a bit of a, I mentioned a dip here over the last, month and a half of the year, 2 months of the year. And, it's that rookie wall, if you will, right? You're coming out of college where you're playing 40 games. Now you got to get back adjusted to 72 games. It's a little bit of an adjustment, but I would expect those two to have strong finishes to the year. And if we're doing anything, moving forward, Howard and Hudson are huge parts of it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a big part of it too. And a couple people have pointed that out to us in the YouTube as we, speculate on, who could come up. And listen, the Oilers being hurt and missing the bodies that they are isn't a good thing for everybody. Because like you said, you guys are down to 11 healthy forwards. Like, if there's another recall coming here in the next 24 hours, the Condors, you guys are right in the thick of a playoff spot. And I'm looking at the standings. You guys are in a Pacific Division that looks nothing like the Pacific Division in the NHL. Like, that gap is tight.
No, we're. I think we're the Metro. I think of the AHL. Yeah, we have 7 teams right now that are within 5 points or 6 points of each other, and I think this Condors team could probably get to third in the division. I think home ice is big for us, especially with kind of that mini play-in series. Just to be able to stay at home early on is big. But yeah, I mean, the guys know what the role is here, right? Like Colin Chalk knows what the role is here of the American Hockey League. We want to win. But at the end of the day, right, nobody's sitting around in the organization going, internally or externally, hey, if we win the Calder Cup but don't make the playoffs in the NHL, like, that's a really successful season. Like, nobody's saying that. Like, we're here for, providing NHL-ready players to the Edmonton Oilers, whether that's early, late, and whatever ingredient you might need at the next level. So it's life in the AHL. We'll play with 11 forwards tonight. We'll see how it goes and get on the bus tonight and go back home and play in front of 8,000 fans, probably with 11 forwards too. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right, well, best of luck down the stretch here, and as you guys look to lock up a playoff spot, and we'll catch up with you soon. Thanks for your time, Holty.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Great catching up with you.
There you go. Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors, play-by-play voice, man who wears many hats for that organization and does a great job with all of them. And he always does a great job popping on and giving us a look into what's going on down there. Man, you just hate wearing those earpieces, hey?
Can't stand them.
If you just put in one, it's not as bad.
I know, but I feel like I should wear 2. Like, if I have 2 socks, like, I don't like wearing socks either. If I just have 1 sock on, then that'd be a bit weird.
I think I feel like a White House security guard. Yes. You're the president. Liam, you watch it, buddy.
You did it the other day.
No.
Yes.
There's no way that I would make a joke about something like that. So everyone lost last night. That's good. We kind of covered whole thing. Covered
that. Frederic injury, got that one. McDavid, bad offensive player, got that one out of the way. Yeah, let's see those jeans. Where'd you get those from? God, those are gangster.
Those are sweet. He does, honestly, he looks like he might be better in those. Like, very shifty. You wouldn't know which way he's going because the jeans would be flailing
the puck
everywhere.
Would get caught up his pant leg.
Yeah.
Any full Canadian tuxedos lately?
No.
Not for a while.
Darnell Nurse has been significantly, can't really get much worse, but it's improved. So we had to get creative last night. I knew Liam was going to love that.
Oh, that is the first time I heard the jeans, I was stunned.
Yeah, if you don't know, it's a bit on Oilers Nation After Dark where the award, if you want to call it that, is given to the player who looked like they were trying to play the game while wearing jeans.
Yeah, they were just like a guy in the crowd. Like,
picked him out of the crowd.
Maybe like Bakersfield. Like, hey, we need a 12th forward. You.
If Bako needs me, I could kill penalties.
I think
I'd be very scared to block shots.
I think Bakersfield will get some help here soon.
How so?
College hockey.
Get some free agents in the mix.
They got a couple of contracts available. I'm sure they'll fill them. Yeah, actually, I don't know how this would work. Maybe someone else knows. Amateur tryouts. Does that go towards your contract situation?
Nope. You can sign an ATO.
Okay, so they'll do that because that's what you do, and then you sign them to the real contracts a year after. I would assume. Like, Quinn Hudson didn't do that, but I think that's the reason why they got him. And maybe the others do try and do that with a player. But you remember a few years ago, they got Marc Lajoie on an ATO. Then he went to the Golden Bears. And now he's in Nebraska Omaha, I think.
Correct.
Right? I wonder how he's doing, actually. Huh.
I just want to point out, we've already put this on socials.
When did we do that?
I assume Waz is watching the show, and then
Thank you, Waz.
There you go, Oz.
Yeah, maybe link people to the show, Waz. Waz was in the chat, so I know he's watching. He's always watching over us. Oh, you dropped your banana.
Second one.
Someone in the chat said something like, I feel like that banana's not real.
No, it's not real.
Yeah, it's not real. It's fake.
Super plastic.
Um,
It's my comfort one right now.
You said, Aaron, about how, listen, you can't just keep ragging on Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse on that second Florida Panthers goal, and listen, he finds new ways to impress me all the time. The sequence of events of, I think it was Louis Durainen, drives in wide on him, and Nurse give him like a... And I don't... Yeah, the replay doesn't go back far enough. So Nurse has Louis Durainen go wide on him. This is maybe like 30 seconds before the goal. And just like gets so badly outmuscled on the boards. Just could not stop him. Mm-hmm. Goes around... Bang! They turn over the puck. And it's like, all right, we got it back. No problem at all. And like in real time, I'm watching all this. Nurse takes the puck. Up the ice they go. Connor McDavid cuts one way. Nurse just doesn't even notice that McDavid's not standing where he was 2 seconds ago. Tape-to-tape pass to Dmitry Kulikov. Kulikov to AJ Greer. In they go around. Boom. And Knockout Panda says it. Nurse was covering Bouchard there. Yeah, and then they get back into the zone, and Nurse and Bouchard are standing on the same side of the ice. Bouchard's on his wrong side because Nurse was rushing the puck up on his offside and turned over the puck. Then it comes back in, and everyone likes to post the screenshot and laugh at Evan Bouchard on that play. You need to go back and watch the full minute before that goal where Darnell Nurse makes a couple of just absolutely inexcusable mistakes.
Lacks a bit of effort in the defensive zone sometimes. I got pal Daryl. And there you go. Apple iPhone. Bouchard chased out and ended up with Nurse. Well, he was kind of covering for his line mate there, but either way.
This play was ugly because they both, you'll see it on the reverse angle a little bit. Bouchard's just standing next to Darn. Neither of them are taking AJ Greer. You see him just forget about him here behind the net. They both try and lay a hit. Why would I cover him?
So like
bang.
That's Nurse's guy though, right? Like I'm not taking crazy pills here. If you watch, and I actually, again, I'm hoping we aren't getting like a warning no, so we should be good to watch it one more time here. I want to see that reverse angle because they both go after him. But Bouch isn't going to chase him behind the net. Yeah. Like I think that's on Nurse to pick him up. You got to
go across.
Yeah, so like watch Bouch.
But Nurse has had this problem all the season.
So like Nurse goes to the front of the net here. It's his job to protect the front of the net in that instance. Get to that post, take AJ Greer, have some awareness that Bouchard is behind you and has that part of the slot covered.
They got to communicate. They got to do something.
Someone's got to talk. It's probably a bit more on both of them.
Someone take it.
Looks bad because it was. Quite frankly, it was terrible. Also, Kentucky just got eliminated from March Madness on a buzzer beater.
So what seed were they?
They were 7.
7-10.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Did they? I lied. They nailed a buzzer beater, tied the game.
So it's going to overtime.
Yeah, so that's crazy. Kentucky scored to take the lead with 20 seconds left. And then, so they went down the court with 20 seconds left, took the lead, or tied the game, sorry. And then Santa Clara went down, hit a 3 with 3 seconds left, hit it, and then Kentucky went back down the other end with 2 seconds left, hit it, and tied the game.
I had Santa Clara winning that.
Did they lose?
Yeah, they lost.
Damn. What a game. Did you hear the call yesterday from that high point commentator?
Unbelievable.
So good.
So good.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
This is March.
Welcome to March. Welcome to March Madness, which is actually ends in April.
All of my Sweet 16 are still alive. What about you?
I have no idea.
I got my teeth kicked in yesterday.
Bad?
Just not like, I always mention that like the first hour of Thursday March Madness when you're like, oh my God, why couldn't it be me? Why I think I lost the first 5 games on this. Try again next year.
Also, Evan Bouchard was at the tail end of what appears to be like a minute-long shift before that goal. All right.
Duke Blue Devils had a scare yesterday.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, they were down by like 15 at one point, weren't they?
Bet on them, too.
Absolute madness. Out-of-town scoreboard this weekend. I can give people a little update there. Obviously, yesterday, everybody who, from an Oilers perspective, you were hoping would lose, did lose. Nobody picked up an important point. So here's what we got this weekend. Edmonton has just the one game.
Tampa Bay.
Saturday against Tampa Bay. And then they're off until Tuesday against Utah. So
Bit of a break.
bit of a break here. Bit of a chance to rest and reset.
Question: Who starts on Saturday?
Ingram. Has to be Ingram. Are you going to say Jari?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I really, I don't think Ingram had any impact on yesterday's
Patrick
game.
Waugh wouldn't have won that game. They didn't score a
No,
goal.
it didn't matter. I'm just glad Jari didn't play, like I said before. Otherwise, this would have been
scapegoated.
all his fault, and it wasn't. Do you just hope the Oilers have a better effort? Like, I don't know. Like, you're in a weird spot. You're in a really weird spot because you've allowed it to just kind of go by.
Do you think that's actually Rhett Warner
I
commenting?
can only assume Rhett would go out of his way to comment on our show.
Yeah, I don't think Rhett Warner, who works for the same company as us, I don't think he's fully aware that we exist.
That's the doesn't know how to work YouTube crowd
Yeah,
you're talking
maybe.
about.
I met him once,
I met him once, too.
and I was like, "Hey, Rhett, I'm a real big Bills fan because he's from Buffalo."
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Okay." I was like, "All right, sounds good, boss."
Yeah,
He does seem like a really nice guy. So out of town scoreboard. This weekend, the Anaheim Ducks have a couple of tough matchups, and they've been slipping as of late. They got Utah on Friday tonight, and on Sunday they got to go to Buffalo. They host Buffalo. But they do have to travel because they got to get back from Utah. So they're in Utah tonight and hosting Buffalo. Buffalo has been steamrolling their way through their Western Conference homestand here. Road trip. Jesus, Tyler. Through their Western Conference road trip. They beat Vegas the other night. They beat San Jose the other night. LA gets Buffalo on Saturday, and then they get Utah on Sunday. So couple tough games. Like Utah and Buffalo are the two teams you're rooting for this weekend if you're an Oilers fan. San Jose has one game. They play Philly on Saturday. Seattle has one game. They play Columbus on Saturday. And Vegas has Nashville on Saturday and Dallas on Sunday in the second half of a back-to-back.
Jeez. Well, we'll be scoreboard watching this weekend. Just take care of your own business, and you don't have to worry about the out-of-town scoreboard.
I mean, yes and no. If you want to catch these teams and stay ahead of these teams, you need them to lose their games in hand.
Totally.
Yeah.
But there's only one team they got to catch.
Anaheim.
The rest of them are behind them.
So, again, there is a world if we're blue skying this weekend, and we did 53 minutes of bitching about last night, and that's all fine and dandy. There is a scenario where you come out of this weekend a point ahead of the Ducks, and they would only have a game in hand on you. Mm-hmm. That is the world I'm choosing to live in for the next half an hour. What did the Rhett Warner guy say again?
I don't know. I didn't care for it anymore. It's fair for a fake.
We might have a different looking lineup tomorrow. We did get a look at lines earlier.
That is a great little segue, Aaron. Let's pull up our lines from our good friend Bob Stauffer, who was, of course, down at the skate today. Back to Savoy, McDavid, and Hyman. Interesting. The line you had together when the team scored 5 goals. Granted, they were only involved in one of them. RNH with Podkolzin and Kapanen. I'll be honest, Kasperi Kapanen has been awesome over this last stretch. Since he's basically come back from the injury, Liam, even last night, I thought he was buzzing for a guy who we at least know he had some amount of an illness, which is maybe he's the best example of why we shouldn't let the illness be an excuse. He played 17:37 last night, and I thought he was flying.
When he's going, he's going. I feel like he's been way more consistent this season than we've seen him, I guess, just last season alone. And maybe it's the fact that he feels more comfortable with the team now. Could be an angle of it, but he's a very useful player for the Oilers. I do like his game, and I can understand why they would want him a bit higher up the lineup than, per se, Jack Roslovic. Good speed on Nugent's wings there. I think the idea of having Podkolzin and Savoy next to McDavid was more of hey, they're the two hottest guys on the team right now. Savoy's basically a point-per-game player, and Podkolzin has as many 5-on-5 goals as McDavid and Draisaitl. So I can see why they tried to do that. But
they didn't push back last night, but you could even add the Pod's bodyguard factor.
Yeah. It was weird how there was just nothing.
There wasn't any of that, though.
No.
Yeah.
So top line, back to what it was a couple games ago. RNH with Pods and Kapanen. Honestly, if they need to make another change after Saturday, and I don't mean to go down this whole rabbit hole, I wouldn't mind seeing Kapanen go up with McDavid for a game. I've been a fan of his to that extent over this stretch. Dickinson with Jones and Roslovic. Yep.
Kind of running out of options here.
Yeah, listen, you and I are oiled to the max till we die, but Max Jones is on your third line. That kind of tells you the state of things. Former first-round pick?
Yeah.
Is that a line with 3 former first-round picks?
It is.
I mean,
24th, 29th,
we're living,
18th, I want to say.
we're living La Vida Loca. Are you kidding me? Three first-round picks on your first
How
line?
many first-round picks in this team right now? Savoy, McDavid, Podkolzin. Yeah. Wow, they have everyone but the 4th line and Hyman with first-round picks on the forward group.
And that's why they're on the 4th line. Szymanski, Henrique, and Järventie are expected to be the 4th line tomorrow. Lazar skated today, still on LTIR. No quite clear timeline on when he could be back. Ekholm, Bush, Nurse, Murphy, Wallman, Stasny. They need Ty Emberson back because Wallman, Stasny is an absolute tire fire, Liam.
Well, Wallman's been a tire fire, honestly, since he did the wobble against the Ottawa Senators.
It's fun to watch from the perspective of
Pure chaos.
Yeah, like it's just you don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. There could be no forechecking. They could be standing alone in the D zone waiting to break out, and you're still just a little on the edge of your seat being like, I don't know where this play is going to go.
Rob asked, he's like, where's Max Jones? Just look a little bit higher than the 4th line. He's on the 3rd.
Yeah.
I know typically we don't go much higher than that, but that's where he is tomorrow.
He is.
Unless Freddie can go.
Let's should we bring in our next guest? We're really excited for this one. Mm-hmm. So when what was this, maybe 2 weeks ago? Yeah. We asked you guys what you wanted to see more of on the show. You said you want people who can break down tactics and things like that. Look at the game through a little bit of like a coaching lens. And one of the names you guys brought up was Jack Hand. So we're excited to bring him on. He's brought to you by GMC. Truck Month is on right now at GMC, and if you've been waiting for the perfect time to upgrade your ride, this is it. The 2026 Sierra 1500 Pro Crew Graphite Cab is built to stand out and now available at 0% financing for 72 months, which is how many years, Liam?
6.
There you go. It's got a 2-inch factory lift with off-road suspension and a 5.3-liter V8 engine that delivers the kind of power you actually feel when you hit the gas. And during Truck Month, you can get into your very own. Now is the time to head down to the dealership, take it for a spin, and see what the Sierra 1500 Pro Graphite Crew Cab can really do. Our next guest has worked in pro hockey for a number of years, including some years with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Jack Hand joins us. Jack, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, fellas. Looking at that lineup, we're I don't know, we're kind of in tough here,
eh? To say the least. I think this lineup is more Bakersfield than Edmonton, to be honest.
Well, with the Pacific Division being the way it is, Jack, I think we're going to be just fine here.
Yeah. So, so you guys are based out of Edmonton, right? So I used to work at the Labatt's brewery in Edmonton for I was there for a training program for a couple of months. Not seeing the sun before and after work was rough. Let me tell you. Drank a lot of beer that year.
Well, you're in the best spot to drink it.
Yeah, I was going to say, same would be my response to you, and I've lived in Edmonton my whole life. You spent a number of years in the Leafs organization, and I was just doing a little bit of I think you call it cross-referencing here, but you were in the Leafs organization the year that Kasperi Kapanen popped home 20 goals, right? And I am a big fan of his. That is a great waiver find by Stan Bowman. I love the energy he brings, but he just never quite found a way to stick in Toronto or Pittsburgh or St. Louis. What is it about Kapanen? Is volatile a good way to describe him?
So the thing is when he was in Toronto, he was one of the fastest players, maybe even the league. And in terms of his shooting and in terms of his ability to carry the puck and beat guys one-on-one, there was a point where a lot of people, not necessarily within your organization, but a lot of people in the city thought that it was going to be a close call between who's better between Kapanen and Willie Nylander. And for me, it was always not even close, because Nylander sees the game way better, and he's way better at changing his speed to create openings, right? Kapanen is a little bit one speed. I find he gets tunnel vision sometimes. But again, a great example of a guy who, because he's so skilled and such a good athlete, can average, 15, 20 goals, whatever, can play with good players. But I would say that, just the software aspect maybe lags, because in terms of his ability to generate power and things like that, he should be a top 6 guy every day of the week.
Mm-hmm. There's been a big conversation here in Edmonton too recently about Evan Bouchard and just the season he's having, and it's become a national story, which I think is just pushing his case a little bit more, but what have you made of Bouchard as a whole this season? And I guess, do you think he has a legit Norris case?
So, I watched the highlights from last night. I saw the first goal. A lot of people are angry about that one. But the thing with I've been a Bouchard fan, not forever, because I did scout him in his draft year when he was playing with the London Knights, and I look at this guy who was playing half the game, and he was playing it looked like he was playing half speed, and I was like, I'm not sure he has it right in terms of his skating, in terms of the urgency of his play, but then he breaks into the NHL, and sort of that sort of calmness, or that that poise that he has translates really well. And the thing with him is, I think when you scout him, especially on video, or if you watch him on TV for that matter, you don't see the feel that he has for the game. It's almost like I played quite a bit of NHL 26, and it's almost like the way that he sees the game, he sees it top down, and he knows exactly where everybody's on the ice is. And his biggest weakness is if he gets beat, he's beat, right? Mm-hmm. So like last night on the first goal, if a guy gets a step on him, he's not fast enough to recover, but it very rarely gets to that point because he has such a great awareness and such great hands in terms of corralling tough passes, or stringing stretch passes, or obviously there's a shot. But I get why he can be a tough watch sometimes, but also it's you kind of lose the forest for the trees because he's so good at identifying where his outs are, and he's so good at completing plays that the vast majority of time he's a net positive.
Yeah, that's something Paul Coffey's talked about too with Bouchard, is freeing him up a little bit and saying hey, and you and I have talked about this too, the mistakes he makes most of the time, I'd say, and the turnovers that end up on highlight reels, they are a result of him. I love that analogy of seeing the ice top down, because they're kind of the result of him seeing a lane that almost no one else sees, and he tries to make this perfect pass, and it's I don't want Evan Bouchard to stop trying to make those high-end passes, because that's what allows Connor McDavid to get the puck in stride and go. That's what allows the Oilers to get into the offensive zone and drain another team. I'll live with 5 bad turnovers as long as Evan Bouchard keeps giving me 10 to 15 elite plays in that same time frame.
Yeah, and even speaking of turnovers, you look at if you have access to sort of more proprietary data, Bouchard ranks actually really, really well in terms of his completion rate, because he makes so many plays. He has the puck so often, and so his actually, if you look at the blue line as a whole for the Oilers, Bouchard might be the guy who has the lowest turnover rate, even though if you just look at raw numbers, he might have the most, because he's the guy that makes most of the plays on that unit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like that you brought something up there, the having access to more proprietary data. I don't have access to it. I can barely say the damn word. But it's something that pops up a lot with the Oilers, where these public models will be oh, their expected goals against since the Olympic break, so good. And even last night, we had people, kind of tweeting us and commenting on the show, being well, look, their expected goals was better than the game against the Sharks. So how can you criticize them for last night? Sometimes I think that publicly available data at times can be a little bit flawed with what you look into and the numbers you have access to. Have the Oilers started to maybe find their game since the Olympic break, or is that maybe not quite accurate?
So I'll address last night first. The thing is, one of the things in hockey analytics is score effects, right? So it's easier to get the puck into the offensive zone when you're trailing, because the other team is more likely to be a little bit passive. So last night, the Oilers lost 4-0. Florida scored its game-winning goal halfway through the first period. So basically, 3/4 of the game, the Oilers were chasing. So you would expect them to put up more expected goals. And the thing, looking at last night, is just they were never really in a position to get back in the game. Obviously, when you give up 4 and you scored 0, that's going to be a problem. And tactically, what I saw a lot from the Oilers early in the season was there was a lot of space between the forwards and the Ds. They would try to push the pace, as they say. So whenever they get the puck in the defensive zone, the forwards would sort of cherry pick out of the zone and try to push the Ds back. And it works with the big guys because they're so good at corralling these difficult passes, right? So if you think about NFL or CFL, the wide receivers, that's a very tough job, right? It's really tough to catch these vertical passes and then be able to make a play off that. So, I think lately the Oilers have they're not spreading themselves as thin as they were before. But then once they get into the offensive zone, like it's a lot of like low to high, pound it to net, try to get the rebound. And so, if it's Bouchard shooting those pucks with the screen, then maybe, that's a viable strategy. But it just seems like when you look at what's being done elsewhere in the league, it's just the Oilers' offensive tactics are a little bit simplistic.
So I think something interesting happens with the Oilers, and it's become a bit more of a narrative this year too. Is like, well, it doesn't really matter what they do in the regular season because we all know all of a sudden they just completely flip it in the playoffs. Is that based off like the coaching staff just being like, well, we just play one team now and we can just map it out a little bit easier? Like, what is the biggest change, I guess, you've seen from playoff Edmonton Oilers to regular season Edmonton Oilers?
Well, the danger of thinking that the regular season doesn't matter, or the danger of adjusting your approach to, play against one team in particular is first of all, the regular season does matter because if you don't make the playoffs, you can't win the cup. And the second thing is the team that you may be tailoring yourself to might not make the playoffs. And then, where you're at now. So both of those things might come true this year. Obviously, the Oilers still have a good chance to make the playoffs. The Florida Panthers are toast. But the thing that kind of alarms me is, you look at the Oilers lineup. Obviously, McDavid and Draisaitl are still there, and Bouchard's still there, but the sort of the middle class of players is just getting worse year over year, right? Like before, you would have guys like Ryan McLeod and Warren Foegele who, weren't perfect players, but at least they can drive the puck up ice and carry a little bit and create a little bit more. This year we're seeing Savoy. I think, stepping into a healthy role and contributing that way. Like, I think the Oilers would be such a better team if they have 2 or 3 more of these sort of Matt Savoy or Podkolzin type players, right? Like players who are between the ages of 22 and 25, who are out of the ELCs, who were drafted by other teams who kind of soured on them, but who are still good players. Like the one sort of mental exercise or I would do as the Oilers is like, imagine if for the rest of Stan Bowman's tenure as GM, that he was not allowed to sign any contracts except ELCs, RFA contracts, and a Connor McDavid renewal. But if he were not allowed to sign UFAs ever, how would that look? Because my sort of the insight I have in terms of team building right now is, with the cap going up, and with the Oilers prospect pool and the UFA market being what it is, which, both are pretty, I would say, relatively barren, the way to go to sort of extend this team's window is to go and get contracts that other teams have signed with decent players, but that just haven't worked out. So, the best example, I think, in division is Mason McTavish. So McTavish is on year 1 of a really...
I was just Googling him. I was hoping you'd say him.
Yeah, so, exactly what we're talking about. Like, like a Podkolzin type or a Savoy type. Obviously, he's what, 7 times 7. So that's a big number. But, a guy who I think as Nugent Hopkins and Hyman sort of age out, he would be the perfect either a third-line center or maybe a second-line winger or even maybe a first-line winger as a complement. Like, these are the kind of guys that, like, I think Dickinson was a great ad for this team because they needed a shutdown center. They really didn't have anybody in that hole. I think Murphy is a good ad for the short term. But again, like, you need to look farther than the extremely short term. And there are guys like McTavish or there are guys like Jesper Kotkaniemi, right? Like, these are names that are pretty controversial because their current teams have soured on them. But these are the kind of players where, again, between ages 22 and 25, they make decent money, but, you can potentially absorb that. And also you're getting that contract at a discount because, they've basically played themselves out of favor where they are, as opposed to you overpay for a guy on the UFA market who's like 32 and then he's immediately ineffective.
I think that's a good point too, and one of the things that's hampering the Oilers as well is like they have some bad contracts of their own. So listen, the Lucic for Neil thing kind of didn't really work out for anybody, but could that be the framework for the Oilers maybe getting one of these other guys? Like, you got to nail it. It's got to be a good trade, but can you maybe sweeten the pot, offload an albatross contract of your own, and sneakily find a guy who fits in your system better than in the system he's currently in?
Yeah, or there might be one or two guys per year on waivers that you can grab, and this comes out of nowhere, but Vladislav Kolyachonok, who's a left-handed D, I think he's 6'2", good skater, good defensive stick, very interesting player, and that's the kind of D that could be like a Brett Kulak type replacement, right? That really kind of blossoms when you give him some playing opportunity, but like those are the kind of players that you're going to have to start refilling with. Because if this team, like if they keep doing what they're doing for another year, then they're going to be like a three-man team. Because Ekholm is going to age out, Nugent Hopkins is going to age out, Heim is going to age out, Kapanen, Henrique is going to be gone, long gone. But you need to get these sort of middle-class players who are, again, sort of in between, like in their RFA years, maybe in a not ideal situation, because again, like whatever draft picks that you use, like they're not going to get here quickly enough, right? And whatever UFA money that you end up giving, it's going to be badly spent.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. And that's maybe along those lines, like, hey, the Ike Howard trade, and who knows if it is or isn't going to work out. I don't know where you come out on Ike Howard as a prospect, but they flipped Sam O'Reilly for Ike Howard with the idea of like, this guy's going to get to the NHL a year faster than he is, and we maybe view him as more of a fit.
Yeah, so I think by default, Ike Howard is the Oilers' best prospect, like their best non-NHL player, and a lot of that is by virtue of how close he is, right, to playing, or he could play today, right? But the Oilers definitely need more guys like that, and if you're looking for the biggest reason why this year's Oilers are not the same as the playoff Oilers, I just think they need some more guys who can skate and make plays in the middle of their lineup.
So the way you describe what Stan Bowman should do, is there a team in the NHL who does that well right now, who could be the model?
I mean, I think Washington is doing a pretty good job of refreshing their roster. Like if you look at what they've done, whether it's Justin Sordiff, whether it's Rasmus Sandin before that, just sort of getting younger progressively as opposed to going full rebuild. Because obviously the Oilers, like, they don't need to go full rebuild, and they shouldn't. But it's just, a counterexample would be the Jets, because they kept coming back with the same core and adding guys who are even older, and all of a sudden you look at their average age, they're like 31, which is terribly old by NHL standards. Like the league average is somewhere close to 27, 28. And the thing is if you do nothing, your roster gets older by a year every year, right? So I think Winnipeg is an extreme example of like, they were happy with their core, and then they sort of added around the fringes, but they never made a conscious effort to get younger. And then they lose one impact player, Nick Ehlers, and they replace them with guys who are older, and then all of a sudden they just completely crater.
And like, to give the Oilers a little bit of credit, even though we've spent basically an hour ripping them today on our show. Like, you can even look at, they moved off Brett Kulak in that in the Jari deal, which treating Kulak like a cap dump probably wasn't smart, but they did it in that same day they bring in Spencer Stastny, who they're not quite similar players, but Stastny is kind of another guy who fits that model, right? Of like, young player in another organization, maybe you view him as undervalued. Okay, let's get younger, and he can play in the NHL right now for us.
Yeah, and I think this is a good example where, if you were to run your organization in a really smart way, you bring your pro scouts and your amateur scouts together. You look at every single depth chart across the league, and you say, okay, amateur scout guys, what are some guys that you liked 2 or 3 or 4 years ago? Right. And then pro scout guys, like, what are some guys that you like right now, and have them hash it out. Because again, a lot of these sort of value pickups were players who showed well in their draft years, and, draft -1 or draft +1. Like they were good in juniors at some point. They were dominant players, but it's just for whatever reason that transition hasn't gone well. Again, we go back to Mason McTavish, right? Like if we go back 3 years, like he was one of the best prospects in hockey.
Yeah. Right.
And I think there's still a path for him to outperform his contract, even though it's a big number. Like I think for me, like a good comparable could be Dylan Strome, right? Like Dylan Strome kind of bounced around, and right now he's 30, so he's kind of on the downhill slope. But for a while, he was like a legit top 6 center who can really make stuff happen, right? Like he was the guy in Washington down the middle for a while. So, and I think that's worst case. I think Mason McTavish is even better than that. And for Kotkaniemi, obviously, he hasn't it hasn't worked out at all for him in Carolina. But I think in a different environment, I think there's still something there. And you look at that contract, it's actually quite a good value contract when you compare it to the cap going up.
Jack, we appreciate your time. Couple of comments here. Jeff said, best guest all year. Lance said, great segment. CNG said, more of this. If you guys want more of Jack's work, I'm putting the link to his Substack in our YouTube chat if you want to click that. And I also want you, before we go, to tell me about Hockey Tactics 2026. You release a new book every year. I see the links all over your Twitter as well. The new one isn't quite out yet, but give me like the elevator sales pitch here. You got 60 seconds to convince our viewers to buy this book.
So if you're listening to this podcast, you probably watch a lot of hockey, but every year I watch every single NHL team. I diagram out their 5-on-5, their special teams, visual format, easy to understand, whether you're a hardcore fan, whether you're a hockey parent, whether you're a hockey player, you're going to learn something, and it's all presented in a really easy to understand way.
All right. Sweet. We appreciate your time. Thank you for popping on. We will probably bug you again because our YouTube chat liked it, and we liked it too. Thanks, Jack.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
There you go. That was great.
Well,
went in a lot of really cool ways. Also, me having Mason McTavish's NHL Edge page up right as he brought him up.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's a big win for me.
It's a good job I rehearsed before the show. What he was saying there about the Oilers retooling on the fly is probably an easy way to put it. Not that the Oilers need to go into deep, as Jack kind of said as well, but it's stuff we talked around the deadline, and neither of these guys obviously ended up getting moved, but like Braden Schneider and Will Cooley, it's like the Oilers don't have that middle ground of players, and I think I said early in the season, I was like, they really needed guys like Podkolzin and Emerson to take a step. Maybe there was another player in there too, I can't recall, but they're the mid-20 guys. Those two guys, 24 to 27-year-olds who, like Podkolzin and Emerson, are never going to be anything outstanding for the Edmonton Oilers, but they can be legit role players. And as people have pointed out, D being the number one guy who points it out, I was like, the Oilers lost Broberg and Holloway. As much as like people don't like to hear it, it's a significant part of this whole equation, and they are not on the team anymore. And Dylan Holloway, there you go, 24 years old. Yep. He's having a good year. Of course he is. He's a good hockey player. The Oilers need to find those guys again. I like the McTavish idea. Kotkaniemi, very interesting to bring up because there is a bit of a stigma around him, I guess you could say. I don't think many of us think he's that good of a player, but he's always seemed to have just been like a little bit overpaid. We'll see who... we'll see who... I'll get it. Justin is in. $5 to the Ben Stelter Foundation. Let's thank him for that before we get any further. All our super chats go there to the Ben Stelter Foundation. Justin, imagine what an amazing team the Oilers could be as a premier destination. Only about 2 more weeks to sign the Alberta petition for anyone. If anyone's interested, contact Justin. I will not be signing. Mm-hmm.
Contact Menzies as well.
Yeah, Michael, big separate. I'm an immigrant to Canada, not to Alberta. I love Alberta. I love Edmonton. I love everything. I love being in Canada.
The way you could tell that Justin is an Alberta separatist is because this 3-sentence comment is littered with spelling and grammatical errors.
Come on, Justin. Thanks for the super chat, Justin.
Justin, thank you for the super chat. It's a donation to the Ben Stelter Foundation. Save your money. Dilly is in and says, after that interview, Knob has lost my support, $2.79. Thank you. Mistaken Mexican, $20. Thank you, sir. I hate the Oilers losing, but goddamn, I love seeing Tyler get fired up. I feel like running through a goddamn wall for him right now. Maybe we need Tyler to coach the Oilers. I don't think the players would like me.
That would be bad.
I don't think the players like me. There you
go. Was there another super chat?
No,
was
just
that
3 of them.
Speaking of liking you, Bruce Kurlock gave some love to our guest. And you guys, kind of.
This is in from Bruce. This is a very smart dude. And he's just actually has a picture of me. Surrounded by 2 other guys. All so smart. Listen.
Every week when we're like, all right, who should we get on the show this week? I sit and I think about Bruce Kurlock and the memories we had. And I cry, and my wife goes, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, Amber, you don't get it. You won't get it. I'm not going to tell you. And then I storm out of the house, and it becomes a whole thing. And then she's staying at her parents'.
You ever seen...
See what you've done, Bruce?
You ever seen the movie Love Actually?
Nope.
This is to everyone in the room. Eli, I know you've seen it. Do you know when Andrew Lincoln, that's his name, right? Is like, he's torn because he loves this girl, Keira Knightley, who is married to his best friend. And he like storms out of his studio. Obviously, he's an artist. And he's just like hands on his head, like just really going through the emotions. That's how I picture you when you think of, damn, I wish we could get Bruce as a guest. That's how it would be. I'll play the video. Yeah, see if you can find it, Aaron. That's exactly what I think of Tyler.
I just have him with the signs trying to get it back.
You know what? See if you can find Andrew Lincoln emotional Love Actually, because he loves this girl, but the girl is his best friend's wife. Kind of really creepy, to be honest. Andrew Lincoln in Love Actually. Great movie, though. Good British movie. Good English movie. Yeah, that was bad of me. But I just didn't want to discriminate.
All right, let's wrap up the show with a little what's trending, what's happening in Edmonton. It's a presentation of the River Cree Resort and Casino, your home for great performance. Musician and comedian Morgan Jay is bringing the Goofy Guy Tour to Edmonton on May 23rd. You got to look at him there at the bottom of your screen. The 9 p.m. show already sold out, but they've added a 6 p.m. show.
Damn.
Catch his wild style of interactive auto-tune at rivercreeresort.com. Tickets are going fast. Like I said, 9 p.m. show on May 23rd, sold out. You can't go. 6 p.m. show on May 23rd. Tickets available. You can go. Must be 18 plus.
Please play
so
responsibly.
Joel can't go. Get your tickets for all these amazing shows and events at rivercreeresort.com or at the River Cree box office. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it. This is trending. Chris Knoblauch's comments on Trent Frederic. Trent is out with an injury, and I don't have a timeline.
Hey, just get right to it. I respect it. Don't give me any day-to-day bullshit.
That really sucks for Trent Frederic. I feel very bad for Trent Frederic. I like Trent Frederic. We are Trent Frederic fans. We want to see him succeed here. Everybody would sign that contract if it was offered to him. It is not his fault. He is signed to that contract. He was starting to play good hockey, and this sucks.
Agreed. It's very disappointing and bad timing considering everyone else is getting injured currently. Also, another thing that's currently trending in our YouTube chat, people asking if guests have budgeted their way out for us.
No.
We do not have financial issues. We're in the green.
Everybody.
We're in the green.
We also have full-time jobs. We always have to sell that to people.
This is our full-time job.
It's my favorite when people are like, so that whole podcast thing you're doing.
How's that going?
How's that going? It's like, oh, my full-time job?
Good.
It's going very well.
When I explain I'm on salary, they do not believe me.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you mean?
You want me to buy you dinner? What?
So the other day,
yes.
do you recall I was talking about the African Cup of Nations, Senegal and Morocco?
This is also trending?
Still trending. It's been days and days. The Senegalese team obviously is like, no. Senegalese.
Okay.
It's like, no, we will not give the trophy back. So they took it to the military base and put the trophy in the middle of the military base and said,
"Come get it."
If you want to come get it, go ahead. They have not got it yet.
I wouldn't.
So and
I
they
respect
also,
that move too.
Oh, it's the best. And there's also a international break coming up right away for soccer. Canada is playing a couple of teams too. Look out for that. And, you release your rosters and it's all these graphics and everything. And they've just got their captain holding on to the trophy in their roster announcement. So they're really going for it. And rightfully so. They should not be stripped of this. But I thought the going to the military base was just awesome. The whole country's bought in.
That is funny. Thoughts on Järventie possibly making his Oilers debut? Go listen to Ryan Holt's comments from earlier in the show. He had a great breakdown of that if you missed it. What's trending 1 week from today? You know what it is?
Next Friday.
Opening day for the Toronto Blue Jays. They'll kick off their season against the Oakland Athletics. The Athletics.
Are they
no
still
city.
where are they
play
now?
in Sacramento, but you're not allowed to call them the Sacramento
They're
Waves.
still in Sacramento.
Yeah. Max Scherzer, the ageless wonder, pitched 12 2/3 innings this spring.
Who's Max Scherzer?
Yeah, pitched 12 2/3 innings this spring. No earned runs, 8 Ks, only 4 hits.
That sounds good. I saw Trey Yesavage was put on IR, but there's a whole thing with him, right? Where like if he goes down or doesn't play for a month or something, he gets another contract extension. What is going on now?
They could manipulate his service time by putting him in AAA for a little bit, which they
did
might.
this to Vladdy, if I remember.
Every team does this to every young player.
Okay,
yeah.
so no one should ever feel too offended by
Nope.
it. Okay, that sounds good. How are the Blue Jays looking? They got that Japanese fella. He was on the team for the World Baseball thing.
Kazuma Okamoto, yep. They got Cody Ponce in their
His first name is Kazumo?
Kazuma Okamoto.
What a name. I did not know that. I just knew. Okay, that's awesome. He's a third baseman.
Yeah. Cody Ponce, they signed him from Korea as well. He went there for a few years. He was like a middling reliever for the Pirates for a few seasons, went to Korea, was like setting records almost, and then
Cool. What about
back.
the other new guy they got?
Cease.
Is that the
Dylan
pitcher?
Cease.
Yeah.
He'll pitch the second game of the year.
Who's going to open the season?
Kevin Gausman.
Right. Classic Kev. He always opens, right? Actually, here's another question I had about baseball, now that we're in our baseball segment. The Colorado Rockies stink. They've stunk for a while. Ever since Justin Blackmon left, they've really been bad.
Charlie Blackmon.
Justin Blackmon, former Jags wide receiver. My bad. Classic mix-up. Charlie Blackmon, great center fielder. So now they keep the Kyle Freeland.
Kyle Freeland, yeah.
Was named the opening star. And people I saw on Twitter were like, when does it end? When does what end?
Kyle Freeland being their opening day starter.
Is he not good?
The Rockies are so bad.
So it shouldn't be that crazy that they keep putting this guy out there, right?
But I think they're saying, like, when will the madness end?
Has it been a while?
Yeah, the Rockies are, like, nowhere near contending. They're so
Jeez.
bad. So bad.
Damn. Okay. Well, that's too bad.
R.I.P. Chuck Norris.
That was, I remember growing up, there was obviously the Chuck Norris jokes. And they were always great. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, we didn't grow up in the Chuck Norris era by any means, but that was our Chuck Norris era. So that was, I did feel like a little bit of, like, oddly, my childhood ended today in a weird way. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Piece of your childhood is
gone.
Yeah.
He was just, like, such an iconic person. You know, like the funny, the one joke people kept sending in my group chat today was in dodgeball when they were like, thumbs up from Chuck Norris.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, and it's just, it's really too bad. 86. What are these, Aaron?
Just some of it's 3 hours ago. Top Chuck Norris jokes.
Chuck Norris doesn't go swimming. Water just wants to be around him.
See, with stuff like that, it's like you could really go multiple directions.
Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He does earth downs. Push up, earth downs.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Born in 1940. I had no idea.
Fighting fit.
Yeah.
Damn. Fighting fit.
Yeah. Michael, but the impossible happened.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Actually really sad, though. Too bad. It was, the Spider-Man trailer came out yesterday.
Yeah, I think I saw there was the new meme format of him looking at the phone.
Yeah.
That's me. Like, Trent Frederic has no timeline.
Someone edited it and put a green screen on the phone, and that is just God's work. Chuck's work.
You know what's trending in my life? A couple things.
Okay.
That Afro Man stuff. It's been in my head all day. It's so good.
I wasn't familiar with this until you told me. So, yeah, it seems like he's actually quite an intelligent man. Mm-hmm. Like, just the way, because he had to go to court and everything, and then was just like, prove that I didn't bang your wife, essentially. And the guy said, I can't prove that didn't happen. One other thing.
Okay.
Currently, a lot of Alberta provincials going on right now for hockey. Mm-hmm. So good luck to everyone playing. I was out in Ardrossan for an early one this morning. Mm-hmm. Saw one of the two Mutts guys. That was huge. Good for them. And a big game. St. Albert down, though. Fell down 4-0 to Lethbridge. But if you're looking for some hockey, Madden Deneau, he's one of the potential first, probably him or Parker McMillan goes first overall in the Western League draft. They're there all weekend in Ardrossan. Also, have you ever played at Ardrossan? Have you ever been to that rec center?
No.
Aaron, have you been?
Of course,
What
buddy.
a
That was my gym back
What
in
a
the day.
facility.
I'm from Strathcona County.
Yeah.
I'm from the Ardrossan area.
Yeah, that was a great facility.
Don't
So-
they now have a Subway and like an A&W?
I know.
out there?
I couldn't believe. I have not been to Ardrossan for years.
Yeah.
And
We
then,
up,
yeah.
baby. We up.
Yeah. So good luck to all those athletes.
Who else do you have to wish a good luck to hockey-wise?
I don't know.
You and your beer league?
Div 7 Chiefs begin their Cinderella run tonight.
What seed are you?
7 seed. Last year we famously lost as the 1 seed. This year we're taking a different route. The Division 7 Chiefs.
Famous. So somehow 6 teams came into your league and got improved.
So
Oh,
the
did
way
you- like,
so the
what
way they
happened?
do our standings is this, because you can get moved up and down throughout the year.
Right.
And the
interesting.
the standings are based on your win percentage against the teams who are currently in your division. We went on a run where we got points in like 12 straight games.
Yeah.
We won 9 of them, had 3 shootout losses, and then earlier in the year we had lost like 5 in a row. So we were sitting first in the division. And they reshuffled everything.
And you lost
And the
it.
teams who dropped down were just all the teams we beat. And the teams they moved back into our division were just the exact 5 teams that beat us earlier in the year when we
Nice.
weren't good. So we went from first to 8th.
So you actually have a shot still. You should be okay.
This team beat us 5-1 last time. But the way beer league works, if you're missing 1 or 2 of your good players,
Makes
you're
a
hooped.
difference. You're
It does.
hooped. Yeah.
So we got our 2 guys who played junior. Only 2 guys on our team who played junior. They're in the lineup tonight.
Who's that's?
Sherbs and McKay.
Gotcha.
So there are blue liners. They'll be good.
Good luck. If you need someone,
8
I
o'clock,
got some numbers on my phone.
Grand Trunk, prime time, in front of tens of fans, including my wife,
Tens of fans at the most.
at the most. One time we played a game with like 40 people in the stands
Damn.
in the playoffs, and one time we played a game at Rogers Place, and there was like probably 100 people there because like the guys from the game before stayed, and then the next
Cool.
game, and like everyone was there.
Spooky.
100 people in the stands. I don't handle that well.
I remember once I was in provincials at it must have been U16 or something like that, and I scored this goal, and I didn't really realize how many people were watching. And then as I scored, I like heard the crowd erupt, and I like looked up, and people are literally out of their seats cheering. I'm like, this is the craziest experience. I literally did a flyby. You do not do that in soccer. And it was we won, thank goodness. Well, yeah, that was the best. I think about that every night before I go to sleep. Tens of fans.
You can come watch tonight, Lance. You're allowed to do that.
You'll get that beer you were begging me for yesterday.
Yeah. All right.
Bring your own, no. Bring your
If
own
you are someone who plays on the Div 7, what are they called? The Vikings, I think. Play on the Div 7 Vikings.
Canberra's Vikings.
You're screwed. All right.
Good luck.
That's a wrap on today's show. Thank you, everybody. YouTube chat, bumping as always. Jack, Ryan, our 2 guests. Tremendous stuff. Aaron's got pre and post tomorrow for the Tampa Bay game. Next week, we're in Vegas. Busy couple of days.
It's going to be good. Me, Menzies, Bert tomorrow. And then, yeah, dude, less than a week and we're in Vegas. Let's go.
All right, giddy up. Have a good weekend, everybody. Enjoy the hockey. We'll see you on Monday, noon Mountain. Oil up. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Everyday, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.